Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and in this video I'd like to give you a guide for Rufus EX3 battle. Rufus starts with Darkstar and they will both deal physical damage, and while Rufus has no elemental weakness nor resistance, Darkstar is weak to ice, and they both deal physical fire damage, so you want to boost your physical defense and possibly fire resistance as well. But since Rufus has increased magic resistance, ideally you want to use physical DPS, otherwise your magic damage will be halved. And as long as dealing is active, Rufus will use provoke on himself, so you have to deplete force gauge in order to interrupt that link and stun him. And you also want to defeat Darkstar as quickly as possible, so you could use Ice DPS or AoE elemental weapons like Baja Sword or FF6 Tifa Gloves to do continuous damage on both. And Rufus will also do some dive bombs and he will target the character with the highest current HP, but be ready to switch to defense on some of Rufus's normal attacks as they can do a lot of damage. And also bring a triangle sigil on at least 2 characters if you encounter the sigil phase, and it's a very fast one. Because Rufus has no elemental weakness nor resistance, it means you could use any physical DPS, and you could use Big PP Ice DPS here, and Odin Vincent is obviously perfect for this battle, but you could use quite literally any DPS, and especially non-elemental AoE is perfect here as you could damage both enemies at the same time. And for this battle you want physical defense buffs, debuff physical attack of the boss, that's crucial, and then if you can, bring something to buff physical attack and debuff enemies physical defense so that your DPS unit does more damage. But for DPS you have many options, and Aerith is obviously an amazing healer, but so is Matt. He is also very good here with Centipede, and you could give him Bramble Spine to buff physical attack or Sleek BL to debuff physical attack of the boss. And Angeal is also great here, being able to provide many supportive buffs and debuffs, but you could also use Bard as well. It mostly just depends on what weapons you have available, but there are some options to build your team, and I tried to build a more accessible team, and I have Matt as a healer with Centipede to heal and buff physical defense and debuff physical attack, and I also have Angeal buffing physical attack already for Cloud because Angeal's weapon is below OB6, so I have Bravery on Matt to cast it first. It's just to save some AEB and get that high potency physical attack buff faster. And I also know many people pulled on Bahamut Cloud or FF6 Tifa, and those weapons are great here to deplete Rufus's gauge while killing Darkstar, so the battle goes more smoothly. But also, to make this guide a little bit more accessible, I tried to lower my stats and bring only the necessary equipment, so that's why I have many equipment slots empty, especially on Cloud, so he doesn't overkill. Matt has Give Out Your outfit with Vanquishing X, Centipede for heals and PDEF buff, Sleek BL to debuff physical attack, ultimate weapon, Cura for single target Big PP heals, Bravery to buff Cloud before Store Integrity because it's below OB6, and Asuna Fatigue to cure the status. And then in sub-equipment slots I have John Collar with physical defense and fire resistance, and to guild weapons with physical defense for allies. Angeal has FF6 event outfit with Ad Astra, Stalwart Integrity to buff physical defense and physical attack, Greatsword to debuff physical defense, ultimate weapon, Triangle Sigil and a PDF stat stick. And then in sub-equipment slots Angeal has a summon weapon with HP and fire resistance and a guild weapon with physical defense. Cloud has Bahamut outfit with Shiva just in case for Darkstar, Baja Sword for DPS, but you could use Tifa here with FF6 gloves, and Cloud also has Iron Blade to debuff physical attack of both enemies, Ultimate Buster, a Triangle Sigil, and in sub-equipment slots Cloud only has Shiva summoned weapon with HP and fire resistance. Alright, you want to start a battle with physical attack debuffs, so Blast Wave first with Clouds, and Matt can do a physical attack debuff with high potency, and also with Angel start buffing physical defense. But you want to do one more Blast Wave with Clouds to also debuff Darkstar, but also make sure that you have at least mid or high potency physical defense buff here, so you don't take too much damage. And that's fine, so just start healing back, but now you want to start doing DPS because you want to deplete that force gauge as quickly as possible, so make sure that you apply that physical defense debuff. And Angel debuffs all enemies, so it's perfect for AoE weapon. And here, single shots and those normal attacks, you don't really have to worry too much about them. But also now, I precast that bravery because it will last a little bit longer. Alright, dive bomb, it's on Geo because he has the highest HP character, current HP, and that means he will get targets, so he has a lot of HP, so I don't really have to worry about that. But you still want to have physical defense buffs and have Rufus debuffed a little bit, so you don't have to do it very risky. But as soon as you interrupt that D-Link and deplete that gauge, you can focus on Darkstar if you want to. If you use AoE weapon, you don't have to worry about that. But here Rufus is alone and he will do a little bit more damage, so when you see that he is buffing his physical attack, you want to definitely nullify that. But dive bomb, if it's on Angel, you can survive it. Just make sure that your physical defense is buffed and Rufus's attack is debuffed, because he still hurts quite a lot. Alright, let's just cure him. And this reload, you want to deplete that gauge as quickly as possible, because Rufus has to be stunned so that reload is cancelled. If you deplete it too late, then sure, you might deplete the gauge, but he will not get stunned. Alright, up in smoke, it's just fatigue status, so you can just cure it with Asuna fatigue. And on those single target attacks, you can switch to defense if you want to, but you're always losing some time whenever you switch to defense and back to offense, because then you have to wait until that icon is lit up, so then you finally get those boosts. But just be careful and try not to take too much damage to not lose a character. Right, let's just kill Cloud here, because his Bahamut sword gets that extra 40,000 damage whenever he is at least 50% HP. And here comes the dive bomb. So same thing, just debuff that attack buff and if possible nullify it and then debuff further. And actually that can be a little bit close, so yeah, let's do this. Yes, you should be using all your limit breaks and summons whenever you have them available. I'm just not using them just not to overkill a boss, but ideally you want to use them as soon as possible. Same with overspeed, whenever you feel like you have full overspeed, just use it, especially on your DPS character, to do a little bit more damage. Right, and here's the sigil phase. It's only 12 sigils, but it's still quite a lot of them, so actually, yeah, I'm going to activate it and just do this. It was still very close. But technically I could have a triangle sigil on mat 2, but I just wanted to have bravery for the buff to last longer on Cloud. If you have OB6 or Integrity, you don't have to worry about that, and you could have a triangle sigil on mat 2, but it just, in my case, I think fast. You could switch the defense on that because it's one of his most powerful attacks, but it's fine. Alright, real short, but that should be last one. Yeah, and to be honest, I am quite surprised that this EX3 battle, it feels harder. It's nowhere near as difficult as Crash, but it feels a little bit harder than the usual EX3 event battles, which is a little bit surprising, and it feels like they might have increased the difficulty of the current and future contents, at least on Crashes. We'll see, but it is surprising. But yeah, I hope you found my guide helpful, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.